welcome to today's Value Assembly. Today we are looking at positivity, okay? So I want you to really have a think about the word positivity and what that means. Last week in our assembly we talked about what a value is, okay? So just have a little think, maybe tell the adult next to you or your sibling around you or even your cat or dog in there with you, what is a value? Okay, a value is a principle that guides our thinking and behaviour. So we've been looking at, each week when we're in school, we look at a different value. This week, we're looking at the value of positivity. What does positivity mean? I think I know what positivity means, but I want you to have a really good think about what, to you, does positivity mean. So it means the practice of having an optimistic attitude. Now, optimistic is a very, very, very big word, so we're going to think about that a little bit more, okay? It's thinking, you see here we've got a picture, so we've got two glasses of water. One, it says half full. Oh, sorry, technology. One of them, it says half full, and the other one, it says half empty. But they've got the same amount of water in them. So if you are thinking positively, you would think, great, I've got half a glass of water, it's half full, that's a really good thing. But if you were thinking negatively, so the opposite of positivity, you would be thinking, oh, my glass is half empty. I've got nothing in this top part of the glass, I've only got half the glass. Okay, so that's what we say, that's what we mean when we say thinking positively. Seeing the glass as half full rather than half empty. There's an old Hebrew saying which is think good and it will be good. So the more positive you think, the more positivity will come your way. And it's not about wishing positivity, it's about actually thinking positively, thinking that positive things will happen, having a positive outlook on things. Okay, I'm going to read you a story. This is a very, very old story. Myself and Miss Cohen were talking about it yesterday, and it really sort of fit in with the theme of positivity. So I want you to really, really listen. It's called Brothers Love, okay? So, once upon a time in the land of Israel, there lived an old farmer. When he died, the farm was left to his two sons. They divided the land evenly and built their own houses on opposite sides. The younger brother soon married and had a family. The older brother did not marry but lived alone. Both brothers remained the best of friends and often helped each other on their farms. One year, at harvest time, both brothers undertook the process of harvesting their crop of barley. They bundled the stalks of grain into sheaves, counted them, and took them into their barns to store. Later, they would take some of it to the market to sell. After a long day of work, the brothers usually slept well. But on this night, the elder brother lay awake. It's not right, he thought, that I should reap as much grain as my brother. He has a family to feed, and I have only myself. He needs more barley to sell, so that he can buy all that he needs for his family. Making up his mind to set things right, he dressed and slipped out of his barn. There he took as many sheaves as he could carry across the field to his brother's barn. Feeling better, he returned to his bed and he slept. The younger brother also had slept badly that night. He woke and lay worrying. He too thought of his brother. It's not right, he thought, that I should reap as much grain as my brother. I have my family to help me and to care for me in my old age, while he works alone. So saying, he too rose, dressed and went to his barn. Not long after, his brother had left. There he took as many sheaves as he could carry and walked across the fields to his brother's barn. Feeling better, he returned to his bed. The next day, the two brothers each went into their barns. They looked and looked again at their grain. There was as much grain as there had been the day before. The two brothers again in their fields all day and did not speak of what had happened, but they were confused. The next night, they did the same thing. First the older brother, taking as many sheaves of grain as he could carry to his brother's barn, and then the younger brother, narrowly missing him, did the same. Again, the next day, both brothers stood in awe and counted their grain. which was as much before as they had given, which was as much as before they had given it away. Again, both kept their thoughts to themselves. On the third night, both brothers rose late. The moon had gone down, and they went to their barns. Again, they gathered as much grain as they could carry and headed out across the field to their brother's barn. It was so dark that they almost collided in the middle of the fields. They both stopped and peered at one another. What they saw made them smile and then laughed. They dropped their bundles and hugged one another for a long time. They promised one another that they would always be help for each other, no matter what. Then each knelt down right in the field and thanked God for giving them such a thoughtful and generous brother. It is said that King Solomon, who was the ruler of the land, could understand and speak to the animals. They told him of the two brothers and their tale of generosity. The king was much moved and decided to build a great temple on the spot where the two brothers met. The temple became the centre of Jerusalem, and it still stands there to this day. Now that story really spoke to me of the positivity, the positive thinking, the positive actions that both brothers had for each other. They both wanted to help the other one. They had positive thinkings. And in return, as we said earlier, because they were being positive and they were thinking positively, they were having positive things come upon them. That's something really important to think about. I'm going to give you some examples of what positive thinking or being positive looks like, okay? Here we have building blocks all built together, okay? So positivity can build people up. So here we have the saying, I like your shoes. That's a very positive thing to say, okay? We could also say to our friends, if the technology would work, 1 second. Oh my goodness. I'm just going to get my lovely assistant to move it for me. Here we go. So you can do this. That's a very positive thing to say. Okay, let's look at the next one. That was a great story. Again, we're being positive. We're saying something kind to someone. Thank you for helping me. Of course you can play with us. And well done. These are all really positive things that you can say. If you're being positive, if you're being kind to others, people will reciprocate that and they will be kind back to you. Now let's have a look at the opposite, so negativity and negative things. So if we have a look here, you can see that our stack are toppling over, okay? So negativity can damage people's self-esteem. It can start slowly and then it can knock people down, okay? So let's look at some examples of some negative things. Why do you always wear those shoes? So previously, I like your shoes, but this time, why do you always wear those shoes? It's got a negative sound, okay? That was a boring story. I don't want them in my group again. You are so clumsy. Oh, and you're no good at football. These are all very negative things. Now, I know if somebody said something like this to me, a negative thing to me, it would make me feel negative, and I would then reciprocate probably with something negative to them. Whereas if someone said a positive thing to me, I'd be feeling very positive, very happy, and I would respond with something positive, okay? So I want us all to remember this saying, think good and it will be good. The more positive you think, the more positivity will come your way. So in your day-to-day life over the next few days, I want you to really think about this and think about how you can continue to be positive. How you can continue to think positively and not wish positivity and wish good things, but think positively. Okay? And, last slide, take care and stay safe, and I will see you for next week's assembly. Bye!
Clap along if you feel like a room without a roof, because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like happiness is the truth, because I'm happy.